Spring. Yay. Jax, you're ruining my serenity shot I'm trying to get here. Good morning, friends, family, total strangers. This is the second part to my Gadgets video. Some of the lighting in this isn't the best. Sorry. That's what I got. Yeah, we've been camped here in a Aguirre Springs campground for the last couple nights. So I came through here. I filmed some here like a month ago, and it was in my how I find cool places video, but we decided to camp here for a couple nights. Yeah, so here we go. Here's the rest of my gadgets. So my next gadget is one that I've shown before. It is the RoadPro oven. So yeah, I'm about to make some banana bread, so I have this plugged in right now. It just cooks to 300 degrees. It's an easy bake oven for adults, as I say. And it only cooks from the bottom, so you have to put something to rise it up off the bottom so it doesn't burn. And then, yeah, so it's not great for all applications, like it doesn't brown things on top, but it's pretty versatile if you are creative with it. So here comes the banana bread. The recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of butter, but I'm too cheap to do that. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of oil, which is much cheaper. And that'll be plenty of butter for the flavor, I think. Yeah, so 1/4 cup of butter, well, mixture, and 1/2 cup sugar. And I'll cream those together. Now we're going to mash 2 bananas with a fork. So if you've seen my last time I made this, you know why I'm laughing. It's funny, those little mental lapses you have. Anyway. The fork mashing went quite well. 1 egg. I currently have some wasps harassing me. So then we're adding 3/4 cup of flour. If you're making this at home, you'd bake it at 350 degrees for 55 minutes. In my RoadPro, it's going to take about 2 hours. And then the last thing I'd say is you could double this recipe if you were doing it at home and you have a regular sized bread pan. But I am making a half loaf. And I almost forgot, which would have been disastrous. We have to put a riser on the bottom. I'm going to use my apple core. Worked pretty well last time. If you don't do this, if you're baking something for 2 hours, it's going to burn on the bottom. So we'll close that up and then shim our oven and we'll be all set. So the next gadget I'll talk about are my solar lamps. So I have currently 2 solar lamps, so that's how I light my van. I easily could have wired up some LED lighting, but I was lazy. And I just didn't do that. So how I light my van is I have these solar lamps. These little ones are like $10 or $20. I don't really remember how much. I used to have 2 of them. One of them broke. So they're not super durable. But yeah, they're great. You know, it's dim light. They're not super bright. But they work pretty well. But the real gadget that I wanted to show is this one, which, let's see if we can do this. This is, bigger. The difference between this one was $40. The difference between this and this is that this has a big old battery pack with it too. So what that means is this has 1 brightness setting. This one has 4 brightness settings. So at the lowest brightness setting, it's about the same as this, and it'll last 60 hours on one charge. But it has a couple of really cool features. Besides the fact that you can adjust the brightness, I think on the brightest setting it'll only last 6 hours of light, but it's pretty bright. It definitely does. You can read by it, no problems at all. The really cool feature this has is it has two things. It can charge by the sun, just like this one does, or you can plug it in USB and charge it. So that's a really nice feature. But the thing that makes this super cool is that with this battery pack, you can charge your phone. I was almost out of power on my phone, so I'm charging my phone right now from this battery pack, from this solar lantern. So if this thing's fully charged up, it will charge this phone completely. This wasn't quite fully charged, so it won't be able to charge the phone completely, but it is charging the phone as we speak. And then it does take a while for this thing to recharge in the sun. With this tiny little panel, it probably takes about 16 hours for this to recharge. But it's super handy to have. Like, there's been several times where I wanted to film, realized that my phone wasn't charged, and I just grabbed this thing and went on a hike and was able to film because I had this. So it's super handy. I'm probably going to use it for backpacking when I do backpacking here in the summertime. And yeah, I think this is $40 really well spent. It's very versatile. It does a lot for me. Here's the banana bread. I got a piece all buttered and ready to go. I already had a little piece. It's delicious. And I will say I should have put a little more oil in the pan because it's stuck and a little bit. But yeah, came out delicious. Jax's morning routine these days. You want to go for a WALK, buddy? Or how about a walk? You want to go for a walk? I should stop doing that or he's going to learn how to spell. Hey, Jax! Jax! Look at it! That didn't work at all. That's better. The last thing I wanted to talk about is just my little 3/4 guitar. So this is a tiny guitar. It's a Yamaha travel guitar. It's the APX T2, and this was about $150. If you have a tiny van like this, these things are great. It has a pretty good sound. I mean, it's not amazing, but it has a pretty good sound. It's acoustic electric, so if I play an open mic, I can plug in. Yeah, it's a good little instrument. I would give this a B+. It's one of the problems with any of these tiny 3/4 guitars is that it's easy to push a note out of tune. There's a bee harassing me. It's easy to push a note out of tune, so a way to fix that is just to tune the whole thing up a step. So normally this would be a G chord, and the way this is tuned right now, it's actually an A chord. That kind of fixes that problem of the notes kind of bending out if you're not super precise with them. So yeah, it's a good instrument, and it's a great addition to a tiny van.
went down to the St. James Infirmary to see my baby there. She was lying on a cold white table, so sweet, so cold, so fair.
So I have officially lost my selfie stick. So I'm using my tripod for this. If any of you have suggestions of videos you want to see, throw them in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Know if there is a subject you want me to cover. And then also, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I might be getting close to another Q&A video. So any questions, throw them in the comments. This is kind of a hilarious matchup. This is a Italian sausage sandwich with Mexican cheese on garlic naan. I am not afraid to mix my world cuisines. Just a quick follow-up to the Wii Boost. So, although it is cheaply made and already has issues, I am currently at the Red Cloud campground here in New Mexico, and when I got here, I had one bar. I could get a text out. I had no internet, no nothing. With the Wii Boost, I have Wi-Fi. I have YouTube. I can check my YouTube. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but if you're going to be boondocking out in the middle of nowhere all the time, I think having a cell phone booster is essential. And for the price range, there's just from all the reviews I've read, there's really nothing better than the Wii Boost. So I wish there was. It's flawed, but I would still recommend it. So just to recap and price all this stuff, the Aquabot was about $20. That's what it costs nowadays, and that includes the bottle. So $21. And if you buy just an Algene, it's $10. So really, this is $10, and it's money well spent. Yeah, I would give this an A+. I love the Aquabot. It's really, really handy. Love it. Jet boil. This is really great for boiling water. That's all it does, though. So this is like $105, I think, when I bought it. So I will let you determine if something that just boils water is worth $100. For me, it is, because of how fuel efficient it is, how fast I can get my coffee going in the morning. I would give it a B, plus I can use it for backpacking. So yeah, I would give it a B. And that was, again, $105. This guy was around $40. I got it in an REI. And yeah, I definitely love this. This is great. And again, I can use it for backpacking. It has multiple uses. So super useful. The Wii Boost was $180, which is expensive, and it's already got some flaws. But it's been really useful to have it. So yeah, I think I gave it a B- earlier, and I would stick with that, a B-. It's really useful for the van. The guitar is an A. I love this thing. Great. And it's literally an A, because if I play a G chord, it's an A. And then last thing is the RoadPro, which is cooking right now, so I can't move it. The RoadPro would get a solid A from me. It is a little limited in its applications, but you can get around most of its limitations, and it's really awesome to be able to have a oven in the van. I would like to point out that this is for people who have an auxiliary battery system. You can't plug this into your car unless it's running, unless it's driving. If it's just running, it's going to sap the battery. If it's driving, it'll be able to run this, but your car might not even have a fuse for the cigarette lighter, the 12-volt jack. That this might blow your fuse. So yeah, it has a pretty high amp draw. So this is more for people with a auxiliary battery system, and it's primarily used by truckers. But yeah, I love the RoadPro. So I think that's about all I have for today. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.